All right, so now we'll be looking at full expressions that we'll see here. So, so for each one of these, you have your example. You've got 5 less than x is 15. The clue word there, and typically whenever, pretty much on this worksheet, it says is or are. I didn't try to trick you up on equals, so don't give me the clue word for equals. The clue word for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division is what we're looking for here. So we've got our clue word here is less than, and it tells us that we're doing subtraction. Now, there's one really important thing about less than. If I'm telling you 3 less than 5, it is not 3 minus 5, the 3 subtracted from the end. So see here, 5 less than x ends up being x minus 5. So you're subtracting from the end. It doesn't go at the beginning on that. Okay? So, let's do the first one here. R divided by 8 is 9. So, I've got divided by, which that one's pretty simple, right? That's just division, so I'm going to put the symbol there. If you want the symbol, that's fine. It's up to you. You can put the word if you want, but it's quicker. Yeah. And then R is divided by 8, so that's going to be, I do want us writing our division like a fraction, like this, because we're going to see that a lot more in algebra versus the division sign. So R divided by 8 is, tells us to write an equal sign, and 9. Okay? Questions? 2, 9, increased by. So, increased by is my indicator here. And Marley, what is increased by telling us to do here? It is addition. Very good. And so, in this case, we just go straight across. 9 increased by tells us to put a plus sign. M, it's just going to be this M here. Is tells me equal sign. And then I've got 15 last. Okay? For number 3, that keyword right there is minus, which is, of course, going to be subtraction. If you have the word minus, it's not like less than. You just go straight across. So P minus 2 is, tells you to put an equal sign, and then 12. Okay? For number 4, we've got times. Times is our key word. It means to multiply. I'm going to use the dot for multiplication here. So, 6 times T is 42. Now, I used the dot whenever I wrote this. I'm going to write this over here over to the side as well. If you see this, if you see a number and a letter right next to each other, 6T, what's happening between those two? What is it, Ayla? It's multiplication. So you might see this written this way. In fact, a lot of times if it's multiple choice, you're going to see it without the dot there. I need to update my word list because this is a worksheet that I got from Miss Martin. Split evenly by 2. That's going to be division. So split evenly is going to be division. So G, split evenly by 2, it'll be dividing by 2, is 11. Okay, for number 6, I've got 8 more than. More than, let's treat it like less than, although I will admit it is technically not wrong to say 8 plus S here, but it helps us whenever we get to less than. If we just, when we see that than, well, I should go ahead and write more than, I guess, here. And it does tell us addition. But when I see 8 more than S, I want to put the S first, plus 8 is the equal sign 24. So that word than, just like you saw up here, tells you need to add to the end or subtract from the end, not the beginning. Although technically is 8 plus S the same as S plus 8? It is. So if you mess it up on addition, it's not that big of a deal. If you mess it up on subtraction, it's wrong. Okay? For fewer than, I see that word than again. So when I'm doing for fewer than, let me write that down, fewer than, which tells me subtraction. Allison, how would I write that one? 4 fewer than n is 20. Perfect. N minus 4 equals 20. So you don't do 4 minus n, you got to do n minus 4. That then tells you you're switching that order there. All right, for 8, we've got C divided by 2. So divided by, it's division, of course. So C divided by 2 is 32. All right, 9, I've got W and 14, R 26. This almost looks like it doesn't have a keyword. What would the keyword be? It's going to be that and, which is addition. Good. So we're just doing W plus 14 equals 26 there. Okay, just a few more left. Let's see, Wade, what would the keyword be on number 10? Twice J is 18. Twice. And what does it tell us to do? Multiply. Specifically, multiply by what number? Well, you're multiplying J by what number? Nope. When we say twice, it means to double it, times 2. So, let's write it this way. Let's not even put the dot between. If you put the dot between, it's still correct. But what we see a lot of times, because whenever you see this on your test, it's going to be multiple choice, is a lot of times answer choices don't have that dot right there. So if I just have 2 and J next to each other, it means they're multiplied here. Okay? The quotient of, so quotient is my word here. That tells me to divide. Quotient of x and 2, whatever comes first goes on top, whatever is second goes on bottom. So x divided by 2 is 5. Okay, 1/3 of n is 4. What is our keyword here? Is going to tell us to put the equal sign. But as far as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, of, what is of? It's multiplication. So of is multiplication. So we're going to have 1/3, and I can just put the n right there beside it, and that means it's multiplied. If you put the dot or parentheses, that's also correct, but it's typically not going to have anything in between it. So it equals 4. Okay? 13 is one that we get mixed up a lot because it's a little like less than. If I have 5 subtracted from x, so I know subtracted from is my keyword. Tells me to subtract. 5 subtracted from x. Which one comes first, the 5 or the x? The x is going to be first. X minus 5 equals negative 2. So you might want to put your little note right here. This is like less than. All right, you're going to switch the order of that. 14 has got another less than, which tells us to subtract. So Vince, how would I write that one? N less than 3 is 2. It is not going to be N minus 3 because this than right there tells us it goes in the opposite order. So the 3 is going to come first, and then the N is second. So 3 minus N equals 2. There. So when you see those thans, an alarm should be going off in your brain telling you that it needs to be subtracted from the end or added to the end. Okay? Our last one is subtracted from. Which is a minus. And for this one, Cameron, how would I write that one? Perfect. B minus 3 equals 5. And see here that we got 3 subtracted from, so it's got to be the minus 3 on the end. We got B that actually comes first. Those are the ones that trip students up the most. Okay, so